Conversation blazing.
And we're here to light it up 5 nights a week.
Burn Live, y'all. Burn Live, where we burn through conversation, trying to ask y'all common sense. Welcome to a Monday edition show where we're definitely finna get into some marijuana news stories. This is what we do every Monday. I highly appreciate people coming through, stopping through. Yo, when I say I do have a lineup for y'all throughout this week, I got special guests coming through. The Good Night Capiche is popping. Burn Live show has marijuana, AI, technology, cop cams, political. We're going to be getting into a lot of things. There's a lot of things coming to the channel. I do everything live because it's in the title, it's in the name, Burn Live. That's why I do things live. I got other people coming, MJ's Closet. I also got Burn Coffee coming to me. Got so many things coming. It's busy. I highly appreciate it. I do want to just put that out there into the world to get people to, you know, get them to know and see like what's going on and coming. I will be advertising it soon. A lot of promotion and commercials and ads and stuff will be coming to the channel near you. I highly appreciate it. We're also want to just give us, I do this all the time, but just want to give a special shout out to Bookface, YouTube, Twitch, X, and we're live on Rumble. All these access to these beautiful websites. I appreciate everybody stopping through, coming through. Please like, share, do all that thing that you do on your channel. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Marijuana Monday. This is for all my potheads. You know what I'm saying? This is why I got the marijuana shirt on, representing to protect ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We are humans like anybody else. We live, we eat, breathe, and all that stuff. We go to work, we come, we have families. But yet again, it's like everybody can protect themselves but marijuana. And I've been against this. I've been advocating for it. I've been, you know what I'm saying, staying on my P's and Q's of doing research on when there's going to be a day that they look at people that smoke marijuana as not a harm and what can they do to help us protect ourselves. And so I got this article. We have been covering gun laws for marijuana use for a minute. Now I have an update, and I would like to update everybody and let them know what's going on. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this.
By users of illegal drugs have been banned by federal law. The Trump administration says it's essential for public safety. Next week, the Supreme Court considers that is unfortunately wrong. It's high-stakes marijuana and states that legalized it in some form. Our Devin Dwyer has a closer look at the case and growing debate over whether cannabis should get a carve-out in gun law.
In the foothills of Pennsylvania's Allegheny Mountains, oil and forestry are big business. Donald Trump is big politics. And for hunters like Rob Green, guns are a big part of local culture.
If you don't support the Second Amendment in Warren County, you probably should leave.
Green is an Army veteran and father of 3, and until earlier this year was the top law enforcement official in the county for more than a decade.
Most crimes that we prosecuted involved drugs or alcohol. I mean, that's a good 85 to 90%.
He also happens to be a user of cannabis, one of 440,000 Pennsylvanians with a state-authorized medical marijuana card.
So how often do you use?
When I was the DA, once, which would be good. I'm not a daily user.
Does marijuana serve a medical purpose for you?
Yes. Yes. If it did not, I would not be able to get a medical marijuana card.
Marijuana as medical treatment has been legal here since 2016, but consuming cannabis also comes with what Green calls an unconstitutional cost.
As of right now, I have 0 firearms.
And why is that?
I could serve 10 years in prison for having a firearm because I am, according to the feds, an illegal user of marijuana. I mean,
We can't protect ourselves because we have no marijuana license. But yet again, if you get into the marijuana business, you still can't protect yourself. Now, if they switch it up and say, yeah, you can get your gun license, all you gotta do is get your marijuana license. Boy, sign me up. But let's get into it.
it's bull.
Congress has prohibited the feds from cracking down on state medical marijuana programs, and President Trump recently signed an executive order loosening restrictions.
It's an honor to do this.
But cannabis is still banned under federal law. And that means 6 million registered medical marijuana patients across 40 states must surrender their Second Amendment right to own a gun, even when they're not under the influence.
See, okay. I do not want it regulated federally so federal can be involved. So y'all can sit up here and be like, the government is running marijuana. You don't know what they're putting in the weed. We already speculate that now. You already speculate that now. Okay. So to speculate that now, we got to cut back. We got to find a way to find a common ground to say, okay, leave it up to the states to see if they want to regulate the gun law for gun owners and marijuana usage. I'm cool with that. I'm with that. That makes sense to me.
Pennsylvania gun dealer Tim Parker says the law is still the law.
We have a sign on the outside of the door. We do not like people that smell like marijuana coming into our shop. A lot of times they tell us that they have a license or a marijuana card, and they're legally allowed to have it. I said, well, you're not allowed to come in here. We will not sell you anything.
Parker showed us how gun buyers must attest on a federal form under threat of felony prosecution that they don't use marijuana or any other illegal drug.
So if you check yes, it's an automatic no
Correct,
purchase.
because the federal law, even though in the state of Pennsylvania they made medical marijuana legal, the federal law still mandates that we cannot sell you a firearm.
Since 1998, the FBI says countless drug users have been turned away by gun dealers because of that form, in addition to more than 240,000 customers flagged for drug-related convictions by the background check system. The Trump administration calls the gun ban for drug users a cornerstone of public safety.
Those are the kind of people that shouldn't be carrying a gun because it's all split-second things, and a gun doesn't think for itself. Guns don't kill people. People keep people, not guns.
Okay. I disagree with everything that man just said. He was like, them people, like there's something wrong with us, like we're not functioning. I understand that you're looking at thugs and criminals and everybody that do crime, but people that drink beer, which I'm assuming my guy drinks beer, I'm just going to go on the ledge, allegedly drinks beer, but yet again, I would look at him as he is a threat more than I am to society of having a bad day, a bad incident under the influence of alcohol further than I'm under the influence of marijuana and something bad happens, where it's more of protecting yourself from dangers and people invading your privacy just because you're probably a grower and you want to protect your crop. He's not thinking about the profit. He's not thinking about safety. He's just thinking about the abuse. I don't like the smell, the ignorance, and how marijuana is youngly influenced in the community. And all those stuff are valid, okay? All that stuff is valid, but yet again, you're not thinking about nobody. It's like he can protect himself and go get a drink and go to the bar. I can't smoke a blunt and protect myself. I have an extreme problem with that. And for him not even to even consider that a consideration is dangerous to me and my safety. is why I can't protect myself. And I wish that would be a follow-up question is, okay, alcohol people can protect themselves, but why can't marijuana people? People that pop pills can protect themselves, but marijuana users people can't. And we actually go out and vote. We don't commit that much crime. It's not like a marijuana usage person commit crime. Most of that marijuana people does is what? Drug trafficking.
This is our gun room.
The potential dangers of combining drugs and guns is apparent inside the City of Erie Police Department gun vault, lined with boxes of 700 firearms confiscated in crimes since 2023.
How many of these guns would be associated with drugs?
Yet again, I love this. Listen to the question. You want to know why he's asking that question, ladies and gentlemen? How many of these guns charges has to deal with drugs, not just marijuana cases? That's the wrong question. That's the wrong question. How many of these cases have something to do with marijuana, have to do with actual weed incident cases? You know he can't answer that question. You know it's going to be a very small number to that answer. That's why we're going to say, what's the answer to drugs? Now, I know a lot of y'all gonna like, when y'all start watching it, y'all gonna hear different things that I'm against, things that I'm for, things. It's really different when it comes to this marijuana game. Okay, but I'm just keeping it real. When protecting yourself, gun law status, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I mean, so 170-ish that we took them and confiscated them with drugs, but I would probably guess 70% of these probably were in the drug charge. Had some connection, yeah.
Police Chief Richard Laura says medical marijuana is not a top threat, but does pose a danger when combined with guns.
It's not a top threat, but composes a threat. What threat do we compose?
We don't want someone who's under the influence of alcohol or methamphetamine or cocaine.
But yet again, we don't want nobody influence of methamphetamine, alcohol. I'm gonna let him finish. Hold on.
Or marijuana to be handling a firearm. Obviously, there's some safety issues there.
What are the safety issues? If somebody in the comment can name any safety issue that you think of the comment, please put down. Let's have a conversation in the chat. Let's talk about it, and let's really get a conversation started on this. I'm curious to understand why they think they have. You are a threat. You're an influence. There are data to back that up. That hey, you're on the marijuana. You might do what? You might do what? School shootings, shootout in a mall, shootout in a food restaurant. Are there any statistics where these cases were a part of an investigation, where it was a key part of an investigation? Let me say it like that.
The Justice Department says it prosecutes 300 cases a year in which a violation of the drug user gun ban was the leading charge. One recent high-profile case involved Hunter Biden, a self-confessed recovering crack cocaine addict who was charged with lying on the federal gun transaction form and obtaining a firearm. So was Ali Hamani of Texas, who the government...
Crackheads, ladies and gentlemen. Crackheads. Crackheads. Come the fuck on. Give pothead, like, no, bro. No. Now, we have fought for legalizing marijuana. We have a bigger fight. We need to get this marijuana stuff passed for gun laws because they're putting us in some of the outlandish conversations and groups to put us in. They got like, no, bro. We got to do something, bro. This is not right.
Government says admitted to using marijuana every other day while keeping a Glock 9mm pistol in his home. But a federal court said the ban enacted by Congress in 1968 is too broad and unconstitutional as applied.
And it's unconstitutional because, and we're talking about a statute that renders it a felony for a person who is a consumer of cannabis to possess a firearm, whether they're sober or intoxicated, no matter what.
The Himani decision spawned a rare alliance. The Trump administration, gun safety advocates, and anti-drug groups now appealing to the Supreme Court to hold the line. They say a ban on guns for people who use illegal drugs, including medical marijuana, is rooted in the nation's history.
Back to the days of the founding, we had laws about intoxication and severe intoxication, even surrounding things like alcohol.
And they point out marijuana use has been linked to perpetrators of some of the country's deadliest mass shootings, like the attack history.
Back to the days of the founding, we had laws about intoxication and severe intoxication, even surrounding things like alcohol.
And
alcohol.
And they point out marijuana use has been linked to perpetrators of some of the country's deadliest mass shootings, like the attack in Minnesota last year at the Annunciation Catholic School.
It's not to say that everyone who smokes marijuana is going to have cannabis-induced psychosis, or even the vast majority.
Right.
But we need a bright line rule here to prevent against the worst possible scenarios that could occur.
I do.
Okay.
Use has been linked to perpetrators of some of the country's deadliest mass shootings, like the attack in Minnesota last year at the Annunciation Catholic School.
Annunciation Capital School. Yo, I'm finna go look into this right quick. Give me a second, because I ain't heard nothing about that. If y'all know something about it, put it in the chat. Hit me up with a link. I don't know nothing about this school. Let me put the CCs up real quick. Real smack. I don't know nothing about that. And how does it link to marijuana? How does that link to marijuana? Oh yeah, let's see. First of all, let's look up. He said a year ago. I'm looking it up, y'all. Just the shooting. They're saying this was 6 months ago. We're gonna come back to this because let's see what he's talking about, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's what we should start doing, especially when we're talking about something that we advocate for.
Central Minneapolis. Governor Tim Walz posted on social media just moments ago that he's been briefed on the shooting and that both the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and State Patrol are on the scene. We're also hearing reports that the ATF and FBI are responding too. Let's bring in ABC News investigative reporter Olivia Rubin. Olivia, what do we know so far?
Well, not very much at this hour, Diane. Like you said, the governor there just confirming that there is a shooting going on, what he calls a horrific act of violence at this school. I would also point out that the governor says that this is a young Catholic school. Just looking up information at the school right now, it says it's a preschool to 8th grade lower school, which is, again, just horrific. I would also point out that they're saying that this is really the first week of school. This is when kids are going back. As you said, we know there's also a large federal response going on right now. The FBI responding, ATF responding. We don't know anything more than the fact that this incident has unfolded. It's way too early to be talking about numbers. If people are injured, if people have been killed, way too early. We don't have information on that.
Way too early, okay? Way too early. We're hearing about it. Remember, we're understanding that gun laws and marijuana. That's why we're looking this up for people that just coming in, okay? Shane said nothing about marijuana, right? Cool. Cool. So I'm gonna go to this Fox coverage of maybe.
Welcome back this morning. We're learning more about the horrific shooting that killed 2 children at a Catholic school in Minneapolis this week.
A search warrant detailing what investigators learned about the suspected shooter, including that he recently went through a breakup and that officials seized a tactical vest from his father's home.
Police say they have also spoken with the shooter's mother, who has apparently hired a criminal defense attorney. Let's bring in former congressman and host of the Saturday Night in America, Trey Gowdy. So great to see you this morning, Trey. You longtime prosecutor, you know your way around a search warrant. Was there anything in the search warrant that was surprising, or did it tell any special story to you about what's going on with the investigation?
It kind of screamed notice to me, either actual or constructive notice. I mean, I don't know how you go through life glamorizing serial killers and expressing your disdain for the most innocent among us, children, and nobody takes notice.
Right.
So the reason the mother hired a criminal defense attorney is because of the Crumbley parents. I mean, the Crumbley parents knew or should have known that their child was going to go kill classmates. I don't know the facts in this case, but when you start holding parents responsible, not
real quick, real fast, not to linger on it. I'm bringing this up to tell y'all this. Notice how they're not bringing up what, ladies and gentlemen? Marijuana, okay? Marijuana. I'm going to go to another one.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built a...
Where's the shooter? No one knows. Here in Minneapolis, school children scramble for safety during the latest mass shooting in America.
This time, it happened at a church where Catholic school students were celebrating Mass.
The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
From CBS News. Fired during morning mass. The students and faculty sought safety in the school's gymnasium and comfort in prayer. Some of the children were injured, others in shock. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
This worship service was marking the first week of school for children that are attending the Annunciation Catholic School. During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside, on the side of the building, and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building.
The ages of the injured range from 6 to 15, as well as parishioners in their 80s. 2 students, ages 8 and 10, were killed.
The shooter was armed.
Marijuana is not a top threat, but does pose a danger when combined with guns.
We don't want someone who's under the alcohol or methamphetamine or cocaine or marijuana to be handling a firearm. Obviously, there's some safety issues there.
The Justice Department says it prosecutes 300 cases a year in which a violation of the drug user gun ban was the charge. One recent high-profile case involved Hunter Biden, a self-confessed recovering crack cocaine addict who was charged with lying on the federal gun transaction form and obtaining a firearm. So was Ali Hamani of Texas, who the government says admitted to using marijuana every other day while keeping a Glock 9mm pistol in his home. But a federal court said the ban enacted by Congress in 1968 is too broad and unconstitutional as applied.
And it's unconstitutional because, and we're talking about a statute that renders it a felony for a person who is a consumer of cannabis to possess a firearm, whether they're sober or intoxicated, no matter what.
The Hamani decision spawned a rare alliance. The Trump administration, gun safety advocates, and anti-drug groups now appealing to the Supreme Court to hold the line. They say a ban on guns for people who use illegal drugs, including medical marijuana, is rooted in the nation's history.
Back to the days of the founding, we had laws about intoxication and severe intoxication, even surrounding things like alcohol.
And they point out
They keep highlighting the word intoxication. So we're going to highlight that word with them yet again. So you can't smoke a blunt like I have just done and then go to a shooting range and go to a firearm and go shoot around. That is against the law. That will be under the influence of marijuana and then go using it and then go and doing whatever. Okay. Now, what we're trying to say is protection of yourself doesn't always mean that I have to be under the influence. Where does protecting yourself overrides under the influence or intoxication? You know what I'm saying? Or, okay, don't have it out in public. There's got to be some way where we can find a common ground to say, look, we need to have it to protect ourselves amongst harmful people. Like
marijuana use has been linked to perpetrators of some of the country's deadliest mass shootings, like the attack in Minnesota last year at the Annunciation Catholic School.
It's not to say that everyone who smokes marijuana is going to have cannabis-induced psychosis, or even the vast majority.
Right.
But we need a bright line rule here to prevent against the worst possible scenarios that could occur.
I do agree there are certain circumstances where people should not be able to own firearms.
But Green says the dangers of marijuana are overblown.
Cannabis has helped me in a number of ways. I mean, it helps me immensely. It's helped out of a lot of other people. And it has hurt me in zero ways. Are there certain drugs that are so dangerous and addictive that it's not safe for you to have a firearm?
Yeah.
Sure. Marijuana is not one of them.
I would say it's like
I would definitely agree with him. I'm definitely going to agree with him. I definitely want to reach out to him. I definitely want to reach out to that guy and see if I can get an interview done. I'm going to talk to my team and see what does it take to get him to come over to the Burn Live and talk about that. And I'm going to go deeper off into this other case too, because that's crazy. I'm still am puzzled of how this figure out. Like I said, I'm a deep dive into it just to see. I'm definitely going to bring this case back up again when it comes to that, because I don't know, guys. If you're looking at me, something's fishy. You know, something's fishy. I don't know. Something's fishy. But I am definitely going to keep up with any time that is hitting breaking news. Got another marijuana news.
Wide-ranging effects on cannabis use and research. William Brangham joins us now with more.
That's right. For many years, marijuana was a Schedule 1 drug in a category with heroin and LSD, meaning the government considered it dangerous to use with no medical benefits.
Now, us being under that category, not being able to get a firearm, I agree. Thank you, God, for this.
Today's move will slide marijuana down into Schedule 3 with drugs like Tylenol with codeine and testosterone. While this doesn't legalize marijuana, this shift would allow for greater research about the drug, which is something President
Call it what you want to call it. Can a person that takes Tylenol get a gun? Huh? Guns are here to protect ourselves amongst the government. Yes, I would like for it to be more guns and feasible, accessible, logical American voting citizens, law-abiding citizens, hands. Yes, if they smoke weed, yes. I don't see nothing wrong with that. When it was up there in heroin and LSD, okay. We're down here with Tylenol.
drugs like Tylenol with codeine and testosterone. While this doesn't legalize marijuana, this shift would allow for greater research about the drug, which is something President Trump touted during his announcement today.
This reclassification order will make it far easier to conduct marijuana-related medical research, allowing us to study benefits, potential dangers, and future treatments. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact, I believe.
So for more on this policy shift, we are joined again by Bo Kilmer. He's with the RAND Drug Policy Research Center. Bo, thank you so much for being here again. Let's walk through some of the impacts of this shift. The first one being research. We just heard the president say this is going to open up the floodgates for new scientific research. Is that true? What kind of research will they?
See, now this is the part where people get skeptical. And this is the part where they like, okay, we don't want the government all in our business. You know, I don't want them controlling what I use. And I get it. And that part, I'm with everybody on something like that. That's why I'm like, when it comes to federal usage of marijuana and restrictions, I'm against it. Hear me out. I'm against it. Leave it up to the states. I think states should be able to recognize and regulate if marijuana gun owners should be allowed. Let the people vote on it. If we got to start a petition, even let that be possible. Let it get the petition. Let us do the small steps it is to take it up to our mayor and make it law for each state. They can get it passed to get it done. Okay. That's what I'm looking at. What are y'all looking at? No, that's how I look at it, for real, for real. If we can get moving like that, then we be moving in a good direction. I promise you that. Let me do something real quick. Man, I like to get a little local news going on. You know, everybody don't want to hear about Trump all the time. What's crazy is that it's quiet in the marijuana news for real. Check this one out. Now, this is probably something good about taxes. I need to watch the Good Night Piece last night. A new show about taxes.
Let's take you back to one of our top stories. Some Tennessee lawmakers are pushing a new idea to help fix the state's roads and bridges. It's called the Pot for Potholes Act, a proposal that would legalize marijuana and use tax revenue to fund transportation projects. CW30's Shakina Davis has details on how supporters say this plan could help address the state's growing infrastructure needs.
Now, you see how potholes for potheads. So basically, every time you smoke weed, and that's cool, whatever. My thing is, that's what you want to do? Cool. I better not drive around. Better not be no potholes in my community. In my section, in my couple of zip codes, wow. My back and forth to work, to a restaurant, to my mama's house, to my cousin's house, to whatever in my neighborhoods. If I'm smoking weed, I'm paying taxes, and I know there's a bunch of us smoking weed and paying taxes, better not be no potholes. Okay. But yet again, that's a state thing. If a state can do that, why can't a state worry about putting together a law for potheads to protect themselves with the gun law?
I think a bill legalizing marijuana in Tennessee is a good idea because it would help out with businesses and it would help out with even the consumers be protected.
Under the Pot for Potholes Act, adults 21 and older will be allowed to legally purchase marijuana in Tennessee. The proposal would also place a 15% tax on cannabis sales, with most of that revenue going toward the state's transportation infrastructure fund to help repair roads and bridges.
Legalizing it the way it would.
But that is also saying that your mayor don't know how to budget money so bad that he had to dip into the marijuana funds. Let me see what they, oh, that money look good over there. Let me go over there. That's crazy. Just want to point that out. When you're searching for funds, you go into marijuana, and like I said, cool, okay, whatever. You've seen a couple of them pothole streets up in there. I better not see that. Let me put that on the big screen. I better not see that. If this is going on, this better not happen. This better not be a thing. Okay? I don't know how easy and how hard that is. That better not be happening.
Fund to help repair roads and bridges.
Legalizing it the way it would benefit our business is we would have more to offer to consumers, and it would definitely make us more money.
Supporters say Tennessee faces a growing infrastructure backlog, with estimates putting costs of road and bridge repairs at about $58 billion. State Senator Heidi Campbell says legalizing and regulating cannabis could help the state capture revenue that is currently going elsewhere.
The Tennesseans are going to other states and getting cannabis. So why are we allowing Tennesseans to go fund Missouri's roads when we could be capturing that revenue here at home and funding our own roads?
Campbell also says legislation would create a regulated system for cannabis sales, something she believes could improve safety compared to the current underground market.
The problem is
that's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? When you can see that another state is losing out on money and revenue in a department, they're going somewhere elsewhere. Yeah, you want to pick up on that money. You don't let nobody leave your state. That's losing out on money. I'm learning this through so many different avenues and stuff like that. I hope that's one thing that we do pick up on this show and stuff like that, is that, you know what I'm saying, you got to really pay attention to how your state builds money, grows money, taxes you on your everyday living, and is there any results in the outcome of it. In this marijuana case right here, we're just talking about just gun law acts and stuff like that. We do need to relook at that and do that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time that you are watching this. I appreciate you stopping through. I'm your host, Capiche. This is Monday, marijuana news and laws. Have a good day.